Hello, my name is John Eory. I'm a shareholder at the law firm of Stark & Stark and a member of the Family Law Department. And my guest today is Richard Carabelli. Rick, as we call him, is a real estate appraiser. And the topic for today is to learn about the importance of real estate appraisals in the divorce process. So with that, Rick, why don't we start by identifying who you are and what an appraiser does.
Okay, John, as you said, I'm a licensed general real estate appraiser in New Jersey. I'm an MAI member of the Appraisal Institute, and I currently serve as president of the Mercer County Board of Taxation. With respect to real estate appraising, what appraisers typically do is to assist our clients in determining market value of various types of real estate.
Good. And most often in the divorce context, we find that with residential properties, although we'll find them with commercial properties as well.
That's correct. A number of parties have assets that go into businesses, commercial, industrial, and income-producing properties, so it isn't just limited to the marital residence, but that's typically the case, but not always.
Rick, when you perform an appraisal, now I hear terms out there people use, and I use them myself because they've been sort of the common currency in the profession: fair market value, fair rental value. Are those the terms that you use, and what are you seeking to accomplish when you do an appraisal?
The term fair market value is somewhat obsolete. When I first began practicing about 25 years ago, that was the term. We always referred to our analysis as being estimating fair market value. Through the years, the fair portion of the market value definition has been dropped, some colleagues believing that if there were a fair value, there may be something less than a fair value or an unfair value. Right. So, but basically, the definition is what a willing buyer would pay a willing seller for a piece of real estate in layman's terms. And that's typically the goal of a real estate appraisal assignment, is to estimate market value.
And that would be as of a given date, given the location of the property and what other factors you include in determining the market value, correct?
Yes, every appraisal has an effective date of value, and that's by the uniform standards. The appraiser must include in his report a value as of a certain point in time. It could be a retrospective value where we go back into a period of time, maybe for tax appeal purposes, estate purposes, where you're typically dealing with the date of passing. Or we could do a prospective value if we have a home that's under construction and we anticipate that it's going to be completed, say 6, 8, 10 months from now. We'll call it a prospective date of value based upon the completion and construction of that particular piece of real estate. But the important thing for people to remember is that the effective date of value sets the trend with respect to market conditions. So you're always doing a report based on current market conditions. If those conditions change, then the report may become out of date or stale.
Thank you. That's especially interesting in today's market because I think we can all agree the market is rapidly changing. I mean, the days when we could assume that a value, a market value, for instance, could hold for a period of time while, for instance, discussions occurred, settlement discussions, or the case perhaps going to trial. This is a pretty fluid situation we're all in now. And I can tell you as an attorney, and my clients ask me, how long is an appraisal going to be good for in these circumstances? And what's the strategy involved to make sure that that value is still a good value if it's, let's say, 60 or 90 days down the road in today's economy?
The best way to answer that question, John, is the report is good for the date that it's written or the effective date that it's written. So it's basically good for that one day. And that's the appraiser's opinion based upon economic conditions at that particular point in time. With respect to a changing real estate market, the best thing that we could do is to update that report, bring it to a present date, and we're typically asked to do that, especially in a moving economy.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are the factors that you consider in preparing an appraisal report?
Well, the first thing that we consider is the purpose of the report. What's the objective? The use of the report. What's the client's needs? We define the appraisal problem. What are we setting out to do? From there, we'll go take a look at the property. We'll inspect the property. From there, we'll make a determination based upon the physical constraints of the property, if there are any. And I guess to some extent, every property has its limitations. The legal, what can legally be developed on the property, assuming it's vacant, or does the existing use conform to the current zoning? Is the use financially feasible? Does it provide a return to the property owner? And is it in fact the best use of the land? That's referred to as the highest and best use analysis.
Now, at some point, you're going to look at what are called comparables or comparable sales, correct?
Right. Once we determine what the highest and best use is, and in most cases, and in most matrimonial cases that we handle, the existing use is, in fact, assuming that it's developed or improved, the existing use is generally the highest and best use of the property, and that generally is residential or development with a residential home. From that, we would get into comparables. We would try to find homes within the same market area of similar style, of similar age, similar condition, and then draw a conclusion based on our analysis as to what the indicated value of the subject property is based on those comparable sales.